Everybody, it's Titi Torres, and welcome to this edition of Who's Next. I wanted it to be a special piece, so I decided to take you inside a studio session with Devvon Terrell. And it's so interesting because you and I were talking behind the scenes about your name.
Yes.
Because it's spelled with 2 V's.
Yes.
And you shared the story that your mom got your name by basically...
Yeah, it was this guy at her high school. So I met him at her high school reunion, and she was like, "This is Devvon," and I was like, "Are you playing? Like, is this a joke?" And yeah, so apparently she just liked his name, but I didn't want to get too deep into that story. So I left it right there.
You
So
didn't want to know anything else? Like,
I don't
Mom, what happened after that reunion?
I don't want to know why. I don't want to know why.
It's so crazy because I discovered your music on TuneCore. You have millions of views on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
You tour.
Yeah.
And you have a new single out.
Yeah, Temperature, which is came out. The whole album Weird Nights came out October 6th with it and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really powerful. You know, like a lot of people don't know I do this stuff myself as far as the mixing, the recording, the mastering. Like, this is my studio. You know, you'll see where I have my merch, where we send everything out. Like, this is really a really tight-knit operation.
But
you know
you
what I mean?
have managed to turn this into a business for you.
Yeah, for sure.
And it now pays for itself. Like,
yeah, it definitely pays for itself. It's what I do for a living. Like, hardcore do for a living. Like, I do this for a living and stuff like that. Yeah.
And another interesting piece to this is the video for Temperature
Yes.
that's out right now. You shot it,
Yes.
edited, directed it,
Yes.
everything yourself.
Everything, yeah. So you know how most people, artists, and no shade to them, you know, they say, "I got directed my video." Like,
Yeah.
I was on Adobe Premiere coloring this. Like, this video is literally, you know, most of my videos are shot, edited, and recorded by me, like, solely and stuff like that. Which I'm not opposed to. If I have someone that does great work, then they do great work. But I just know how to do it myself sometimes, so I just do it for myself most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we're inside your studio.
Yes, my humble abode.
And most people would think that they have to have this big, elaborate studio in order to make quality music.
Right.
And I see that your studio is very small.
Oh, yeah.
It's very intimate. If you can describe your studio vibe that it gives you, what would it be?
My studio is a vocal studio. So basically, I cut vocals in here. And I know a lot of people get caught up in the persona of, I go to the big room and stuff like that to get a bigger sound, but really that's not the case. For instance, myself, I went to school for this. You know, I have my degree in audio engineering from Full Sail.
Wow.
And I wanted to go to school basically to get better at it, you know what I mean? And to save money. Like, that's the grind, it's hustle.
I can tell. I'm like, so you just completely do everything so you can save money.
So I can save money. That's where it came out of necessity, you know, because these days it's impossible to really fund yourself without, you know, you have to be a jack of all trades in some type of facet. So I decided to go to my school. I felt like the music was the most important, sonics. So I went to school for it. And, you know, if you know what you're doing, it's like if you know how to use your guns, I can make you think that this is recorded in some, you know, crazy studio. I mix, master, record the whole 9 myself. So practice.
You mix and master everything.
Everything, absolutely everything, for sure, for sure. I would love, now, one thing I say, I would love to give the job to someone else. I would love to. But when I meet you, then we'll talk, you know what I mean? Like, I just like how
But is it hard for you as an artist who has had success in doing it yourself? Is it now hard for you to allow someone to come in and do it for you? Because you mix, you master, you do everything, you engineer your project yourself. So your ears are a little bit in tune with what you want.
Yeah.
So versus giving it to an engineer and saying, hey, now work on it. Is it hard for you to give up that part of it?
It's extremely hard. But I have come across engineers where I've like, oh, wow, you did good on that one, you know what I mean? And I have had them touch stuff and things of that nature. Like, I'm not the type of person that's that's closed-minded. I'm very optimistic. Even when it comes to this independent thing, when a label comes along, I don't mind, you know what I mean? If it makes sense and stuff like that, then by all means, I'm not opposed to it. But it's just, what makes sense for me right now is the process I have, you know? As far as mixing and the mastering and stuff like that, I do it and I'm very comfortable and I'm very happy with how I do it. So that's why I just keep it that way for the moment until someone just takes it over and kills me, you know? And I'm like, oh, you got it.
So did TuneCore play a big part in your success as an independent artist?
Yeah, for me, TuneCore for me was the first place where I was able to take my music and put it on all the major retailers and platforms. So to people that don't know, you as an artist, you can't just walk in or call iTunes and say, hey, put my song on your platform. You need pretty much a liaison between the two. Right. So TuneCore was my first like liaison between me and my world of platforms that music is put on. Spotify, Grooves, all those websites are done through a liaison. So TuneCore was my first one that I used, and that was powerful. That's immensely powerful. Yeah.
Congratulations on your new distribution deal over at Priority Records.
Yes, yes. It was just great for them to just, you know, see something, believe in it, and now I just have like a great relationship, and we're honestly just building, you know what I mean, with each other and stuff like that. And it's just a distribution deal, and you know, maybe things will become more than that sooner or later.
As an independent artist, you know, you are now making the steps to really grow your brand. Yeah. You know, from discovering TuneCore, putting your music on there, TuneCore helping you get into all the retailers online, the digital retailers, and then now this distribution deal. But the one thing that always attracted me to you is that you've always been a very smart business guy. And if my memory serves me correctly, and you went to school for something smart before getting into audio, getting into the music industry. Yeah. I don't know if it was finance, business, computers, something smart.
You got it, it's computers. Yeah, I went to school for computer information systems with the majoring in network administration. So it was business with the computers. It actually was kind of a strange kind of blend between the two. But yeah, so I went to school for CIS, but I decided just to get my associates in it because I wanted to do music. So I just finished that out, got my degree there, and then went to audio engineering school.
So what was it that made you say, okay, I don't want to do this, I want to do music?
So I've been hustling all my life, you know. In the sense of, you know, I always like to make extra money. So I had a studio that I already had off campus. I bought a house off campus and I had a studio inside. People would come to my house. Everybody knew my house was, you know, you come record your songs and stuff like that. So unfortunately, a kid had passed away on our campus. And, you know, me and a few of the guys, we got together, we wrote a song for him. And the song wound up being really big on the campus and everyone was singing. It was really powerful to me. It was very moving. And I remember the choir had came to me and needed the track and was like, oh, we're going to do this at the next show. We want to perform the song. And I remember sitting there and I remember watching them perform this song. And I'm like, wow, I wrote this. And to see, you know, 30 people singing it and then everybody crying and emotion, it blew my mind. And then right there I knew like, yo, this is what I want to do. Like, I don't want to do anything else. Like, this is it. Yeah. So then literally a month later, I was out. I was done. I was in Florida.
Okay, but did you grow up knowing that you wanted to be a singer? Like, did you sing in the showers? Did you write poetry? Did you always have your ear connected to the music? It's
always been there. What's funny is it's weird how it always comes back. Like, it never let me leave. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was in school plays in 3rd grade. That's how I discovered I could sing. My mother didn't even know. I was in a school play. I was the Wiz in The Wizard of Oz singing I Believe I Can Fly by R. Kelly. And as I'm singing, that's right. I always knew that it was there and it was in me and I just always wanted to do it. I was in groups, you know, I was the singer, there was 2 rappers. Like I always was doing music. But when I would say it got serious is when I was in audio school. Like it was life at that point. Yeah.
So, you know, I see this studio, right? And it reminds me so much of like artists that, you know, I started in the industry with and now they're big mega superstars. And I always go back sometimes and think about like how we first started, and this room reminds me of that.
Right.
Just so it's so, you know, it's intimate, it's small, it's kind of like grimy and grungy, like you still thugging it out.
That's right.
And I always wanted to know, what the hell are these styrofoams for?
So I'm gonna put you on game because a lot of people may not know this. This is some nerdy stuff that you would know. So this is called a sound absorber. It's foam. So basically what it does is it absorbs bass sound. So when you're in a room, if I took all the carpet out and all of these traps, it would sound really boomy and really echoey. Like you would hear a clap, echo, and ring throughout. So these help to absorb those types of things. And you need that because when I play the song, I don't want the song to lie to me when I'm mixing. Then I go in my car and I'm like, what? It's a translation thing. So that's why your room and how you treat it acoustically is very important.
So do you start off by listening to a beat first, or when you do your original music? Because I know, you know, you've done a lot of covers.
We listen to stuff. For sure.
So, but when you're doing your original music, how do you start in the studio? You come in and you do what?
So honestly, sometimes I'll either come in with an idea or I'll come in with an inspiration. a lot of the stuff I do produce myself as well. So basically I come in like most people. I come in and I might have just a melody in my phone. Like if you go on my phone, I have voice notes for days. I might just be saying boom, bat, bat, doo, 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 bam. Like, you know, and that turned into like this whole other thing.
What lane would you say Devvon Terrell is in?
I'm an R&B artist with essence of hip hop, straight up. Because I am a hip hop kid. I grew up in the 90s listening to Biggie. Like Biggie was my favorite rapper.
What do you think about, you know, producers nowadays versus producers
back in the day?
Yeah, like.
Ooh, I feel like it's much easier to get into production these days. And the reason why I say it is because, like you said, you just need a laptop and your keyboard and some programs and you're good to go. As opposed to back in the day, producers were like gods back in the day. I was just gonna say, first thing I was gonna say was Quincy Jones. Quincy Jones is huge, you know, producing for Michael, you know what I mean? All that stuff he did with Bruce Wadeen and all those guys, like, producers really were staples. Not saying they aren't now, but it's a little different now, you know what I mean? There's a lot of producers that just come up out of nowhere, like, oh, he did one beat and then everybody's trying to get that beat. That's right.
You are one of the most knowledgeable artists that I have come across in a very long time, and I have so much respect for you on so many different levels. Just the fact that you're self-taught this, literally self-taught this, and you have an incredible understanding of how the business works and an incredible understanding of where it's going.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey everybody, it's Titi Suarez, and you're watching Who's Next Inside the Studio with Devvon Terrell. My name is Titi Suarez. I come across a lot of talented artists that are looking for exposure and a chance to be heard. Wow, here's a new way to do just that. Log on to Facebook, send us a message on our Who's Next page, and submit your song for the opportunity to be on our Who's Next stage. And remember, for all things Hot 97, at Hot 97 on everything. It's Titi Suarez, and I want to know who's next.